Some teachers. In this video, I want to talk about HSPs, or highly sensitive people, highly sensitive kids, particularly, obviously, and how we need to really be very mindful of the sensitivity of our kids as we're going through this time. I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably already are very sensitive. But I think that one of the things that I've noticed through many years of working with kids is that as adults, we can tend to take for granted how difficult or challenging sensitive things were when we were kids. We can forget how hard certain things were as kids. We can forget how, if we did something wrong or felt shamed by a parent or a teacher or an adult, or felt scared by a bully, or felt we can, or even being a teenager and having a crush on someone, or someone having a crush on us, we can forget, or somebody making fun of us, we can forget how sensitive and deeply those things impacted us as children and as young people. And for HSPs, for highly sensitive people, for a lot of gifted and talented kids who tend to be very sensitive, for human beings who are highly sensitive, but I'm specifically talking about kids, whether your child is 5, 10, 15, or 20 years old, for highly sensitive people, imagine that their experience of all of this is amplified. And the more sensitive, the more amplified it is. So we want to be really cautious about how we describe things to these kids, because their imaginations can really run wild with this stuff. So I'm not telling you that I know how to do this. I mean, this is a case by case basis. You know your kid best. I'm just telling you to be very sensitive to the highly sensitive people, to the fact that after you have a talk with them, that they are going to have, they might be very visual and visualizing things and catastrophizing and imagining and getting very afraid for people around them. Like, if you're done with the conversation, that doesn't mean that their nervous system, when you're done with the conversation, when they're walking away, it doesn't mean that their nervous system is regulated. They might be walking away, carrying the conversation with them and feeling very afraid. And along those lines, the one word of advice I do want to give you has to do with attachment theory and healthy and securely attached relationships. And when you do finish any conversation with your child, whether they're sensitive or not, but particularly if they are highly sensitive, in my opinion, you always want to leave the conversation with a statement of security. What I mean by that is to say something that is going to allow them, even though they might still be having emotions around it, that allows them to know that you're there for them and that things are going to be okay, and that you're not fooling them or telling them it's going to be easy, but that you're there and you'll listen to them and you'll hear them. So it's something like this. Hey, I'm sorry we just had this difficult talk. I know this stuff is scary. And then you can model how you feel. You can say, in my body, sometimes I feel anxiety or tightness, or my stomach can hurt. And I know this is hard, but I am here for you. I care about you. I love you. I will always be here for you. Anything you need, you come talk to me. I may not be perfect at responding, but I will do my best to listen to you and to understand what you're talking about and to try to be here for you. We are going to get through this. I'm here. We're doing everything we possibly can. Something like that. So you want to really be like an anchor where you're solid, you're there, and they can move around and they can go around, but they know that they're tethered to something safe and stable and anchored. And even if you're going through your own trauma and your own fears around this and stuff like that, you can admit that and you can say, I'm scared too, and maybe you don't feel grounded. I did not feel grounded yesterday. And so that's okay. But to say to them still, I may not handle this perfectly, but I'm here. I will always be here. I'm here. So anyhow, I hope that is helpful to you. I guess I just want to leave you with that. Know that the HSPs, the highly sensitive people, imagine that it's amplified. And you want to help them move through this time where we're going through real scary stuff, and help them process their fears and their concerns about this in the healthiest way possible, considering the circumstances. Be very careful about what you share and what you don't share and how you share it, and especially the residue or how you leave the conversation. All right, my friends, I hope and pray and wish for you health and safety and the very best.